Post-match chat is live. What an incredible game of cricket we have just seen. The big grudge match in the PSL. Karachi Kings versus Lahore Qalandars. Karachi Kings put on an incredible total. It was a big total. And it looked for all the world like they were going to end this run of teams winning the toss, putting the other side in, and comfortably chasing. And it seemed for all the world like that was going to happen, but Lahore put in a stunning chase, and somehow that run is alive. Lahore have won the Lahore Karachi derby by six wickets. Incredible game. We can't wait to break it down. With me, as always, are my friends Armaan Kirmani, Anam Nadeem, and today our very special guest, GP, and the keen cricketer Samara Afzal, Dr Samara Afzal. Samara, thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to hear from you. First of all, I'm going to go to Armaan because it's his team, Karachi Kings. They took the L today. At the halfway point, Armaan, you had to be feeling optimistic.
Yeah, I actually think that it was a lot of a mix of emotions because first of all, Karachi got off to a pretty bad start. We lost some early wickets. Babar Azam got clean bowled, like in emphatic fashion. It almost felt like a sort of watershed moment in terms of Shaheen Shah Afridi's career. Obviously, we know how amazing he is, but that was like an iconic moment in this PSL that we had. And then, with the hand coming around him and the good sportsmanship. But then Karachi recovered. And despite the fact that Babar didn't score, they accelerated. They played a phenomenal innings with Shajil at the top as well. And so, they did pretty well. And then towards the end of it, you would think that they'd go on and maybe even get 200 or 200 plus. But regrettably, they finished, it was a little bit slow. So at the halfway point, to be honest with you, I was like, we're about 20 runs short here than we could have been. So that was my feeling.
This has been a recurring thing in the PSL, teams getting close to that 200 mark, expectations starting to go, and then the bowling team just kind of pulling it back a little bit. It was a stunning performance by Shaheen Shah Afridi. I've got to tell you, when the Lahore comeback started, it was very much a mirror match in many ways. Just the death was slightly different. And after 7 overs of the Lahore chase, Anam Nadeem. Now, here's the thing: if you don't follow Anam Nadeem on Twitter, you absolutely should. She makes some really, really good predictions. But today, after 7 overs of the Lahore innings, Anam Nadeem said, "Match to khatam ho gaya." Aapne kya kaha? I think that's what you said. Match khatam ho gaya.
I said game over for Lahore Qalandars after Hafiz's wicket, obviously. मुझे यही था कि लाहौर की जो बाकी बैटिंग है इतना फॉर्म में नहीं है. डंक वीजा didn't get a chance before और even फखर डॉजी था कि वो चलेगा या नहीं चलेगा. So I was like यार I think scene off हो गया. और I got the blunt for it as well. बहुत से लोग कहे थे अब देख रही हो क्या हो रहा है. So yeah, I think मैंने ज़्यादा जल्दी बोल दिया.
I'm sorry about that. I was one of those people as well.
हाँ, कोई खैर है यार, हो जाता है मतलब.
गलत लोगों को आपकी timeline पे ले आया. No problem. Samara, you're a big fan of the Lahore Qalandars. I know you actually got your shirt delivered to you in time for the tournament as well. Well done, you. You must be ecstatic right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just one of those games. It was like a cat and mouse game. But then he go and jeet raha hai. Pehle Karachi start and they're like 3 wickets down and you're thinking Lahore's on top of this. Then Sharjeel was lucky and then he got, played an absolutely fantastic innings. And then again, the death bowling by Lahore was just fantastic to pull them, as Armaan rightly said, 20 to 30 runs short. Again, Lahore comes on 3 wickets down. And I was thinking the same when Hafiz was out. I thought, okay, this is your proper informed batsman and he's gone. And Ben Dunk's not really replicated the form he has previously. And again, it was like, Fakar, same, as what's Anam saying, is he going to click? But then, fantastic. Amir obviously was brilliant, in that first spell. And then, at the end for, Lahore winning, it was just brilliant. I think it's the best PSL game this year so far.
I don't think a lot of people will argue with you there, Samara. It was really tight, really exciting all the way through. Whether you're neutral or you're invested in a team, what a fantastic advert for the Pakistan Super League. Armaan, kick us off today, mate. What was your moment of the match?
You know what? I'm going to go. I know what you guys, we talked about it before, so I've got an idea of the direction you guys are going to go into. So for me, I'm going to pick this ball that Ahmed Daniel bowled to Connie Ingram. Now, I know that we had that iconic moment with Babar, and then we had Muhammad Amir also demolishing the stumps. But what I loved today was I got to see Seam bowling the correct lengths in almost the whole game, aside the last 2 overs. I'm sure we'll get into that later. But Ahmed Daniel, a young upcoming bowler, Yorking calling Ingram. I think it was first ball. If it wasn't first ball, it was definitely very early on in his innings. And, shattering the stumps. And I felt good. This emerging young players that are being forced to play because of the rules of the PSL, it's coming good. And we're getting to see the next generation of fast bowlers that Pakistan will produce. And these may be the bowlers that we get to see going to future World Cups and coming to tour to England and going to Australia. And I'm really, really enjoying that because Pakistan is based its legacy of cricket on fast bowling. So, aaj bahut maza aaya. Ahmed Daniel, well done.
Absolutely. Ahmed Daniel, superb, man. What a great Yorker. Very flat trajectory, as you said. It was very, very, it was a stunning delivery. It came out of nowhere as well, his first ball. Anam, what was your moment of the match?
So my moment of the match was Joe Denley के आउट होने से बिल्कुल पहले रन आउट हुआ सुहेल अख्तर और सुहेल अख्तर पे भी बात करनी है बाद में खैर सुहेल अख्तर रन आउट हुआ उसके बाद आमिर गॉट फुल पम्प्ड अप वो क्राउड को फुल कर रहा है कि भाई चीयर करो कराची के लिए एंड ऑब्वियसली होम क्राउड है कराची का क्राउड है तो दैट वाज माय मोमेंट ऑफ द डे कि वो उसने फुल क्राउड को पहले पंप कराया एंड देन ही शैटर्ड जो डेनली स्टंप्स सो दैट वाज माय मोमेंट ऑफ द डे.
It was a pretty epic moment, I have to say. The ball just came in a tiny bit off the surface. And Denley, I mean, I don't think anybody's got an answer to that. Denley's a world-class player, but I don't know who would play that or keep that ball out. Very, very exciting moment. Samara, what was your moment of the match today?
Mine, because of course I'm a huge Lahore fan, was Shaheen's wicket of Babar Azam. I think, especially because we know Babar Azam is one of the greatest batsmen right now, and we've not seen him struggle. And, we saw him struggle on that delivery and that Yorker, and I think it was a fantastic delivery to get him out, and that really set the scene, and that really put my hopes up, thinking that this is quick wicket. We should be not comfortable, but it should help Lahore now with their main batsman out.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a stunning delivery. And my moment is related to yours, Samara, but just a moment afterwards, actually. So the wicket happened, gorgeous delivery, celebrations, all that kind of stuff. But it was the way that Shaheen just put his arm around his international teammate afterwards and said, unlucky or well done. It just seemed like there was a lovely moment, because Babar smiled as he went off. It wasn't like him, taking the mick or anything. He did a similar thing with Rizwan as well, Shaheen. I just think he's putting a lovely example out there of how to deal with your international teammates. Maybe not your people who are not in the squad, but your international teammates. Like, it's a very nice example. I know he didn't respond that way for Amir, but we'll talk about that later. Adam, okay, I know you're very keen to talk about captaincy, right? What has been annoying you about captaincy in the PSL so far, particularly today?
आज के मैच में अगर हम पहले देखें सुहेल अख्तर की कैप्टनसी पे बात करें लाहौर ने आउट कर लिए 3 ठीक है यू हैव द परफेक्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू अटैक शहीन बहुत फिट बॉलिंग करा रहा है हारिस राव बहुत फिट बॉलिंग करा रहा है सो व्हाई आरंट यू लाइक लेटिंग देम बोल चांस ले लो अगर एक ओवर और उनसे एक करा ले तो हो सकता है एक विकेट और निकल जाए तो जितना कराची ने आज टोटल बनाया है इतना बनता ही ना शायद एंड सेम फॉर कराची किंग्स व्हेन इमाद वाज कैप्टनिंग देम जब वो बॉलिंग करा रहे थे आपने 3 आउट कर दिए शुरू में ठीक है लाहौर इज ऑन द बैक फुट फखर और बेन डंक जो कि फॉर्म में भी नहीं है फखर ने चलो एक मैच में पहले भी स्कोर किया था डंक इज नॉट इन फॉर्म एट ऑल तो यार थोड़ा सा अटैक कर लो आमिर से एक और ओवर करवा लो इसमें क्या हर्ज है मतलब और फिर इमाद ने खुद तो बॉलिंग करवाई नहीं सबसे बड़ी बात है यू द कैप्टन ऑफ द टीम 4 ओवर तुम्हारे पड़े हुए तुमने एक भी नहीं कराया यार व्हाई वर यू हाइडिंग व्हाटएवर द रीजन तुम्हें लग रहा था कि लेफ्ट आर्मर्स खेल रहे हैं फखर और डंक के दोनों क्रीज पे बट एटलीस्ट टेक अ चांस मैन.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I know Dunk is a well-known butcher of left-arm spin bowling. Maybe that factored in. I mean, we don't know, we're not privy. Maybe he's carrying a slight niggle or something, trying to protect himself. But it really was the seam bowlers, I think, generally who flourished. There was a sequence in the first innings, Samara, that you will have watched, I'm sure, with Samit Patel. He was my fantasy pick for most economical bowler today. And imagine how I felt when his first over was taken for 21 run. 21 runs came off his first over. He pulled it back in that second over. He only went for 7 in the second over, and he got that crucial wicket. But it didn't seem like it was I mean, if you're a captain and you hold back on your spinners, maybe you just want to push the fast bowlers. What do you think, Samara?
I think going on from what Anam said, I think especially when Lahore had Karachi 3 down, and then I think he, instead of bowling Haris Rowe for that second over, so Akhtar got Hafiz in for the 6th over, the over just before power play, and again he got hammered. And I was thinking, why is he just bowled him when he could have gone for the 3 down? He could have gone for Haris Rowe. So I think captaincy wise, I agree. I think there were some strange decisions, and again on with Karachi, when Dunk and Fakhar Zaman were well settled, why not bring in one of your premium fast bowlers? Why wait? It doesn't have to be absolute that you have to wait for the last 4 overs, because by that time, the game may have already gone. I know it was really, really close, but I still think Amir could have come in, maybe bowled an over earlier, broken up that partnership. So yeah, some not so good decisions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Armaan, let's talk about those. We'll talk about those death overs. Absolutely, we will. But let's talk about the opening batsman. This is an area of cricket that is very, it's had a troubled past for Pakistan. It's been a struggle for a while now, and now all of a sudden you've got Sharjeel Khan putting up his hand, and then you've got Fakhar Zaman putting up his hand. Both put in very strong performances. What did you make of both of their innings today, Armaan?
Superb. Matlab ke, with the World Cup this year, we need that slot kind of solved, I suppose, in terms of the Pakistani conundrum of this batting lineup. But there are so many options that Pakistan have. I'm not going to get into that right now. What I want to focus on is Sharjeel's consistency and the comeback that he sort of made after the very slow strike rate he had in the match before, in the match that he actually went on to make 100. And just seeing that journey and that confidence that he's had. I think he was batting with Babar in that match, and Babar got him through that difficult sort of spell. And then he went on, smashed that 100. He's gone from strength to strength in the next 2 games. And that's brilliant. And Fakhar, of course, is a proven talent at the highest international level in white ball cricket already. I know he's had a really bad time of it recently in the recent past, but he's had 2 superb innings already in this PSL. And today, he was the backbone for the Lahore innings. So, I think it's looking very good for both of them, putting in a shout for a place in that World Cup squad later on this year.
Yeah, that squad's looking stronger and stronger. More and more options coming through. PSL already paying dividends. 2 players who did perform today, unusually for both of them. Anam, Babar, we've mentioned already. He got a great ball, to be fair, from Shaheen. But also Mohammad Hafiz, that was a slightly soft dismissal. He just cut the ball straight to backward point. And, it's something that was a bit jarring because, the one thing that's been a constant in this PSL is that, you got Babar, you got Rizwan, you got Hafiz. These 3 guys in particular have been unbelievably consistent. Har match mein 40 at least or 30 at least, maybe 50, maybe a big score. It was jarring that दोनों ने perform नहीं किया, लेकिन फिर भी दोनों के teams ने अच्छे total इकट्ठे किए.
तो ये तो एक अच्छा साइन है ना कि हेवीली रिलायंट नहीं है. जिस तरह जब मैंने बोला कि हफीज आउट हो गया और सीन ऑफ है, तो ये एक बहुत अच्छा साइन है कि हफीज के आउट होने से टीम का मेंटल ब्रेकडाउन नहीं हुआ. दे हैड कॉन्फिडेंट इन द रेस्ट ऑफ द बैटिंग लाइनअप एज वेल एंड दे परफॉर्म्ड सिमिलरली विद बाबर. और ऑल्सो दे बाउंड टू हैव बैड डेज. हर रोज तो एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते कि वो लोग चलेंगे. कभी ना कभी एक फेलियर तो ड्यू होता ही है हर बैट्समैन के लिए. सो अच्छा है कि पीएसएल के शुरू के मैचेस में उनके फेलियर्स जो हैं वो निकल जाएं, और जब टूर्नामेंट एंड होने वाला है, जब एलिमिनेटर्स आ जाएंगे, तो तब उनकी अच्छी परफॉर्मेंसेस you'll have to see them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really good way to look at it. There was a reason I asked you that question as well, Anam, because of this. Sorry, it's gonna be a continuous thing, right, ladies and gentlemen? We gotta talk about the death. Okay, let's talk about the first death first. Okay, the first innings. As we said, Karachi, they look like they're gonna post a strong total, some good bowling towards the end, but it was that over from Shaheen at the very last over. There was still a chance to get past 190, 200. Shaheen, deadly accurate, pinpoint accuracy at those stumps. How impressive was that, Samara?
Really impressive. I think in T20, if you can bowl the 20th over and only give 5 or 6 runs, it's brilliant. He was on target. He got his Yorkers absolutely right. The ones that weren't Yorkers, he managed a really good length carrying to the keeper. So I think that made a massive difference, that last over. Obviously, those runs, if he'd given 15 to 20, that would have been the decider for the game. So he was fantastic. And the fact, that he had 2 catches dropped off him as a bowler, and me being a bowler know that it's actually very upsetting when that happens. And if anything, sometimes you just drop your shoulders and you can't be bothered. But he actually did the opposite. And I think that's really encouraging for a young fast bowler to come out and instead think, hang on, if they're not going to catch it, I'm going to try extra hard and just bowl them out. And, I think he was brilliant in this game.
What do you tell the bowlers, Samara, when they drop a catch off your bowling?
Nothing. I don't even look at them. I just walk back and bowl again. I lack the aggression.
Yeah, no, Armaan takes a slightly different strategy, but never mind. Listen, okay, I think we all agree Shaheen superb, fantastic, gift to Pakistani cricket. We love him, maybe the best bowler in the world right now. Let's talk about the opposite side, right? It was very tight. Amir gave them a beautiful platform that first over. By the way, back-to-back games, back-to-back games, he's bowled wicket maidens. That's exceptional, Armaan. Wicket maidens in back-to-back games, and that too in pressure circumstances.
भाई जब कल का हमने शो किया था तो आप मुझे बता रहे थे कि लोग आपको ट्वीट आपने की थी और पूरी दुनिया आपको क्रिटिसाइज कर रही थी जब आपने कहा था आमिर एंड शाहीन आर द बेस्ट वाइट T20 bowlers in the world and you are getting criticism. कल ही हमने डिस्कस किया, कल ही के शो में, राइट? क्यों मैंने आपको कल भी ये बात बोली थी कि आमिर इज वर्ल्ड क्लास. इस बंदे ने न्यू बॉल के साथ अगेंस्ट सम ऑफ द बेस्ट बैटिंग लाइनअप्स इन द वर्ल्ड ही इज टेकिंग विकेट मेडन्स. His economy was 3.5 after 2 overs in the power play, right? And the first thing I want to say before I get onto the death side is world class. In dono like Wasim and Waqar, yeah, they have that legacy. I'm not trying to compare these to their legacy. Clearly, they have not proven themselves to that level yet. But the fact is, when I'm discussing and thinking, yaar, kaun behtar hai? Who's better? Who's got the highest skill? If someone says Shaheen's got the better skill, I'm not going to argue them. That's amazing for Pakistan. But Amir is bowling equally as well, especially with the new ball. And any country supporters who want to disagree, it just means you're not watching the PSL. You're not watching Pakistani cricket, so it's not an informed opinion. These are the two best bowlers in the world. Coming to the death really quickly. Listen, that final over from Amir, it didn't go according to plan. I don't think that the captaincy was great. I don't think that communication was great. He bowled a wide ball first up and hadn't set a field for that and got cut for 4. Then he's pitching it short when he doesn't need to. He's one of the best bowlers of Yorkers at the death and has the best control. तो उसमें भी edge लग गया. फिर आप कह रहे हैं unlucky है. फिर body language भी आपकी यार I'm so unlucky. These things play a part. And then he was desperately unlucky on the third ball, which was like an under edge that went for 4. So आप 12 run हो गए and then you bowl a length ball and get hit for 6. So I think the head was gone. I think that the death bowling, unfortunately, as good as Shaheen was today, Amir definitely missed a trick. And I think with someone of his greatness, he has to take the responsibility for it. Let's not beat around the bush. It just was out of this 4 world-class overs. The first 3 went world-class, but the last one just didn't today. And well played to Lahore. They got there in the end.
They did. Don't worry, we're not finished gloating yet. That's still coming. But first, I want Anam to chime in on that Amir over because it was so important. Like now, my perspective is slightly different from Armaan's. Like, I genuinely think Amir, there's too many A's. Amir got a little bit unlucky. Like, he bowled that he was unlucky. Okay, the short ball, and you saw the replay of Imad wagging his finger, like, don't do that. That's your field isn't set for that. Like any other day, there's a feather on it, it goes through to the keeper. Any of those balls that were really full and were squeezed directly behind the keeper for 4, stumps pe chale jayenge, ya catch ho jayega, ya anything could have happened. The margin was so tight. What do you think? Was it a case of poor execution or was it a case of bad luck?
जो edges के चौके हुए, obviously that was kind of bad luck, fine margins. लेकिन I think जो छक्का पड़ा उस पे आमिर, I think he lost the plot. वो 3 edges उसको इतना frustrate कर गई थी कि उसका control जो है वो खत्म हो गया and he couldn't think straight. और वो आखिरी लेंथ बॉल पे उसने छक्का खा लिया. तो हाँ, फाइन मार्जिन्स हैं. एंड देन एडिंग ऑन टू व्हाट अरमान इज सेइंग कि वर्ल्ड क्लास बॉलर है, तो वर्ल्ड क्लास बॉलर्स डिलीवर अंडर प्रेशर. सो दिस वाज हिज मोमेंट टू शाइन. लाइक अगर आमिर ये उसमें आउट कर जाता, अगर वो छक्का ना खाता या ही केम बैक विद द विकेट विद द बैंग, तो हमें कहते यार हाँ ये वर्ल्ड क्लास सीन है. लेकिन आमिर अंडर प्रेशर थोड़ा सा आज हमें हिलते हुए नजर आया. वो प्रेशर को सस्टेन नहीं कर पाया. एंड आई नो फाइन मार्जिन है. अगेन अगर आमिर उस ओवर में इतनी मार ना खाता, 20 रन पड़े हैं. और आई थिंक पहली बार उसने मजर का स्टार्ट था कि पहली दफा आमिर को PSL में 20 रन पड़े हैं एक ओवर में. सो कराची वर रिलाइंग ऑन आमिर, और आखिरी ओवर में फिर डैन क्रिस्टन को इतना मुश्किल नहीं था डेविड वीजा के लिए मारना.
Yeah,
these are fine margins, man.
He had to get 10 and he got them in 2 balls. David Visa. Now, Samara, you're the Lahore fan. So, tell me all about your watching the David Visa play those shots. Tell me about how you feel about David Visa right now, Samara. Tell me that.
Ecstatic. I think I was literally jumping up and down when those boundaries went in Amir's over, then the 6, because I actually wasn't expecting him to do it, because when he came in, he looked slightly out of nick, and I thought, he's like edging it a little bit. He's not getting the middle of the bat. So, I think with Amir's first ball, I think we're seeing a lot of bowlers actually just bowling, trying to hit just inside the line, the wide line. So I think if he had missed it, maybe that would have changed the momentum a bit. But because he managed to hit it for 4, I think that allowed him to carry on and play more shots. But I think that was exceptional from David Weiss, and obviously he won the game in the end. And going forward, I think that's really good. It's given him that confidence, and hopefully he can carry on performing well for Lahore now in future games from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was like you when Visa came in. That first ball, I think he played and missed. I messaged Armaan on a group that we're on. Oh, why didn't they send Ashraf? Send Zishan, man. I wanted to see Zishan. He's on debut. Let's see. Oh, he's back in the side. Let's see him play. And they sent Visa, and I was like, oh no. And then all those edges went his way. I really think there's just no accounting for it. I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Armaan. Do you think that's the most exciting PSL game ever?
I don't want to say yes because Karachi ended up on the wrong side.
That's why I asked you. That's why I asked you.
At the end of the day, like here's the great thing, right? And we touched on this earlier on. Hafiz didn't really score today, and Babar didn't really score today. So the fact that we had one of the greatest chases and one of the greatest games when both batsmen didn't score, the biggest batsmen in both teams didn't score. And the other thing I want to highlight is what a great wicket we have in Karachi. The fact is, it's got something there for the bowlers earlier, but you're still getting scores of 180, 190. There are bowlers bowling with economies with the new ball of 3.5, and there's bowlers conceding 21. So the point I'm trying to make here is, yes, Karachi and Pakistan are putting on an exciting PSL. We've got great talent, great bowlers, great wickets, great umpiring, good commentary and great production value. So you know what? मेरा गम जो है ना कि कराची आज हार के बिल्कुल गम नहीं है क्योंकि पाकिस्तान की खुशी है कि यार हम कितनी बेहतरीन एक फ्रेंचाइज क्रिकेट टूर्नामेंट हम लोग कर रहे हैं और दुनिया देख रही है इस वक्त.
Yes, absolutely. But Karachi did lose the game. Anam, tell me this, right? Sorry. Anam, tell me this. 11 out of 11 now. The chasing side wins, right? Armaan says the pitch is good, and I don't want to blame the pitch, but there's got to be something. Something's going on because 11 games consecutively, the toss has essentially decided the game. And it's not fair to say that because, especially today is a good example. Kabhi ek team jeete, dusri team jeete, ye hua, wo hua, moments, just little moments, 1%ers, they went the other way. ये हो क्या रहा है? 11 में से 11, ये इसको कैसे तोड़ा जाएगा और ये हो क्यों रहा है? Give us a little insight.
आई थिंक जब तक 200 वाला मार्जिन क्रॉस नहीं करेंगे, वो वाला जब तक टारगेट नहीं बनेगा, शायद एक वो वाली चीज है कि 200 नहीं हो पा रहा. एंड इवन टुडेज मैच, पहले भी बात की डेड बॉलिंग की, तो लाहौर ने आखिरी 4 ओवरों में सिर्फ 27 रन खाए हैं, ठीक है. तो फिर अगेन जब इतना मोमेंटम था कराची की बैटिंग के अंदर, वो मार रहे थे बहुत ज्यादा, आखिरी 4 ओवर बहुत क्रूशल साबित हुए हैं उस स्कोर को एक विनिंग टारगेट में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए, क्योंकि ये तो भाई आराम से लोग चेज कर ही रहे हैं. तो आई डोंट नो. कल सैमी ने बोला था कि मैं फिर से ये रिपीट करूंगी कि जब इस्लामाबाद 118 पे आउट हो गया कल, तो सैमी ने बोला कि जो भी हमारे बॉलिंग प्लान्स थे वो हमने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से एग्जीक्यूट किए, और वो उसके लिए देखना बहुत अच्छा था कि वो साइड पे बैठा हुआ है और जो बॉलिंग प्लान था वो in the middle it's being executed. So I think कहीं ना कहीं बॉलिंग प्लान जो है ना, उनकी एग्जीक्यूशन नहीं हो पा रही है. बॉलिंग प्लान्स हैं ऑब्वियसली सबके पास है, लेकिन उनकी एग्जीक्यूशन नहीं हो पा रही है, या वो प्रेशर इतना ज्यादा है कि जी जो टीम भी चेज करेगी वो जीतेगी, वो प्रेशर आपके ऊपर हावी हो रहा है और आप उसको यू आर नॉट बीइंग एबल टू लेट गो ऑफ दैट प्रेशर, और आप बस यू आर गिविंग इन कि यार अच्छा ये तो चेज होना ही होना है, जो मर्जी कर लो, चेज तो होना है. हमें लो स्कोरिंग थ्रिलर चाहिए भाई, हमें नहीं चाहिए इतने ज्यादा हाई चेजिंग मैचेस. हमें लो स्कोरिंग थ्रिलर दे दो एक, वो भी मजा आएगा. आई डोंट नो मैन, आई डोंट नो.
We still get the back and forth like yesterday with Islamabad and Peshawar. There was that little moment, where they only scored 118. There was a moment where it looked like they might do this. They might just pull this back. But what do you think, Samara? Are you a fan of the big score, the 200 plus, crazy scores that you see, or do you like 70 all out plays, 71 chased off 19.5 overs? What do you like?
I don't mind as long as it's interesting and it goes down to the wire, like today's game. I don't mind it. I mean, I am intrigued as to why the team batting second is winning, because I was thinking, is it the dew factor? But then we've obviously had afternoon games, so they've been won by the team batting second. And the ironic thing is that Pakistan historically actually have always been very bad chasers. We, historically have always been the team to set 250 plus 300 in a one-day international, and then we have the highest chance of winning. So in the fact the opposite's happening in PSL, it's intriguing, but it's good because hopefully then on the international platform we'll also be good chasers as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's very promising. Very exciting game today, guys. And we're going to wrap up with predictions for tomorrow's games. And we'll do that in a second. But first, there was a little contest that we put out today on our post-match chat Twitter feed. And it was to caption the photo that we posted. And that was of Shaheen comforting Babar after his wicket fell. And he's just kind of patting him on the back and saying, you know, oh, God knows what he's saying. We asked you to tell us what you were saying. The winner is El Chopernos. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. El Chopernos, who posted a meme from the film, I think it's the film Dangal, right? The Bollywood film Dangal. And it's Amir Khan's character after he's beaten somebody. It says, Dil chota mat kar, national champion se hara hai tu. You know, so which I thought was very funny. It's very, very funny. You can check it out on our timeline, and remember to find us on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and you know we're on all those places. We get amazing guests like Dr. Samara Afzal. Right, before we go, another game tomorrow. Who is winning tomorrow's match? Who do I start with today? I think Anam. Ladies first. Let's go with Anam first. Anam, who's winning tomorrow's big game in the PSL?
कल खेल कौन रहा है? Islamabad and
Islamabad and Quetta tomorrow, isn't it?
Quetta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Quetta. I mean, it's time to back Quetta now. I want them to win. कभी इस तरह हुआ नहीं कि Quetta ने एक भी मैच ना जीता हो. PSL शुरू हो गई है, and I think it's high time Quetta bounce back, and I'm gonna completely root for them tomorrow. They're my team actually, so I need to root for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to back Quetta. Armaan, who are you backing?
Quetta 100%. I told you, Islamabad I'm backing us. They've still got the Misbah genes going through them, so
Dr. Samara Afzal, fantastic guest today. What do you think? Who's winning tomorrow's game? Give us an insight into how you think it might go.
I think Quetta's had the better form, and I think, especially judging with how Islamabad played yesterday, I think Quetta's just been a little unlucky, and I think hopefully someone's had a chat with Sarfraz and just said, cool, and don't put any pressure on anybody, just play, let them play how in terms of how the game's going, rather than putting that extra pressure on to win. So hopefully they will get a win, and I do feel a little bit bad for them now, actually, because obviously they've been spectacular in most of the PSLs, and they're struggling to win a game at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go the opposite way to all of you and say I think Islamabad's going to win tomorrow, because the truth is I'd love to go to Quetta. I've never been to Quetta, but I've been to Islamabad and it was wonderful. So for that reason and that reason only, I'm just to mix it up, I'll go the other way. But we all got our some of us got our predictions right from yesterday, and we don't have to rub it in, but just to say that one of us got them wrong. It might be the gentleman in the green shirt. Dr. Afzal, thank you so much for joining us. And also, I just want to thank you for the amazing work you've done, particularly with the British Asian community in England, making sure that people are getting their vaccinations and also getting the right information about vaccinations. For anybody who's watching this, maybe you'd like to just say something about why you absolutely need to get a vaccination if you haven't already done so.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've offered the vaccine, get it. We've got absolutely fantastic studies and trials from all around the world showing that it's actually 95% effective, and that's at reducing hospitalization and deaths, and about 80% effective at actually you don't even catch COVID-19, and no one has had any deaths, contrary to what the media say. No one's going to become infertile from the vaccine. It doesn't contain any genetic coding or anything like that. So please, I've had both of my vaccines. The only way we're getting out of this pandemic, hopefully, is if everybody goes and has their vaccine when they're called.
Absolutely. Before you get your tickets for the games, अगर जाना है स्टेडियम में तो वैक्सीन लेके जाना मेरे भाई, और अगर स्टेडियम में जाओगे भाइयों बहनों प्लीज मास्क पहन के जाना. Guys, pleasure. Thank you so much to Armaan, to Anam Nadeem, to our special guest Dr. Samara Afzal. We'll be back tomorrow with more post-match chat.